Hey, what's up y'all? This is MadMave. Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another review. Today we're going to be reviewing the new movie Scream 5. We'll call it 5 for right now. Anyways, the Scream movies are usually directed by Wes Craven, and since Wes Craven has now passed away, rest in peace to him and his thank you for all your great movies that you've made. We now leave it up to the directors of Ready or Not to take on the movie, and they also are bringing the legacy characters, the actors and actresses that play those characters, like Neve Campbell as Sidney Prescott, Courtney Cox as Gail Weathers, David Arquette as Dewey, Jenna Ortega as Tara Carpenter, Melissa Barrera as Sam, Dylan Minnette as Wes Hicks, Mickey Madison as Amber Freeman, Jack Quaid as Richie Kirsch, Mason Gooding as Chad. We also have Jasmine Savoy Brown as Mindy. So ultimately, I think that this Scream movie was a fun time. And while I don't think that this Scream movie is better than the first Scream movie, I mean, it was way more entertaining than I expected, and I probably laughed in this movie way more than any other Scream movie. So take it for what it is. It just had everything that a Scream movie is supposed to be, and you know, with John Carpenter not handling it, I was kind of worried, but I think the directors of Ready or Not did a killer job at creating new interesting kills and also still bringing that back and forth conversation about horror movies. And I like how they injected some of the fresh new horror movies like Hereditary and Babadook, things like that. My positive I would say about this movie is, again, fun, and the kills, which I told you that it was definitely creative, but I would also say just the weight. You know, it is a horror movie, so the brutality, the gruesome, bloody Ghostface, they definitely did a good job of showing that off. And also, I just like how they used a lot of what made the Scream movies great and using it in their own way to create their own vision. And I just feel like they did a good job of kind of walking the line of, you know, not trying to best the movies before and just really doing something, but not doing something just to best it. I just feel like they just stood in their own lane, and the movie is just good on its own. I will also say that another thing that I like about this movie is the meta tropes in here, the things that they usually do in a Scream movie, but I will say that I'm gonna talk about that a little bit later. So it's like a love-hate thing. I liked it, but I kind of got a little problem with it, but I'll get to that. The sister family dynamic was great. The two actresses, I feel, did an amazing job and knew exactly what they had with what they had to work with. I think they are very talented and did a great job selling the characters and even just the physical parts of the performances. The close connectivity to Ghostface and the sisters are present throughout the movie, and each time the sisters are together and just having back and forth dialogue, I would say is a standout to the film to me. They just offer a lot more to the overall things that are happening when they are together. And I would say that this Scream movie has some of the most deepest scenes or dialogue that I've seen in any Scream movie. There's also a supernatural element that's in this movie. I guess you can argue it's a psychological element that deals with the sister, but it doesn't even make itself present to the characters throughout the whole movie, but it does add a lot of weight, a lot of depth to the character, and a badass ending that I think you'll enjoy. So another thing that I'll talk about is a standout character, and I would say the standout character to this movie, the MVP, or at least I would say, is Dewey. I think Dewey was funny every time he was on screen. He always had something, you know, to say, or he just, I don't know, it was probably I feel like it's his best performance as far as the character and just where he's at. I just feel like he had a lot more layers because of the events that has happened before, where what he's been through, and you know where he is now, and then being introduced to these new characters, and also feeling kind of basically obligated to, you know, make sure that they're right, but at the same time when the characters come, they kind of make it present that like at the end of the day this involves you just as much. So I just like that whole thing, and just the whole movie and the events when it comes to this character. If you really like this character, I think that with the directors and how they used them and what they did with them, I think you'll really appreciate it. And I think that when it comes to this character, that I think the directors did it justice. So now we're going to talk about the cons. So the negatives about this movie, at least to me, is one thing is the meta stuff that they talk about in the movie. I really enjoyed a lot of meta stuff in early, and I really liked some of it. I was like laughing at it, and after a while it didn't, you know, take me out of the movie, because after a while I kind of just took the movie as is, and I feel like if you do that then you'll be good. But it did kind of differ from the Scream movies. It took the DNA of what it is, but I just don't want my Scream movies to feel like a horror, and, you know, from a horror to feel more like a comedy or just comical. I still want my horror, you know what I mean? So I just feel like that's a little thing. I feel like if you are aware of that and understand that and just have fun with the movie, I think you'll have a good time. Now this con, I think, you know, it's kind of a subjective thing, but my con on it is that when it comes to the new actors and actresses for those characters, I feel like I like them and I think they did great, but I just don't feel like I'll remember them like I did when it comes to not necessarily the legacy characters like Neve Campbell and Courtney Cox. Even like the, you know, from back in the day, the movies from back in the day, I just feel like I'm not going to remember them like I remembered those characters from back in the day. And I feel like the nods to those characters are definitely instilled in some of those personalities to these fresh new characters, but I just feel like it just didn't work for me on that level. But hopefully if they do make more Scream movies and introduce them again, maybe it will be better for me the next time, or they'll have a little bit more material that would suit me to be entertained in my own way. I also feel like the movie suffers a little bit from some logical problems. It's not a big thing if you can suspend disbelief, but I just feel like there were times where like certain people were supposed to be a certain place, or, you know, like if you called a cop to his location, you know, the cops probably would have showed up by now. But there's just certain logical problems that just didn't add up, or just makes you question things. I know specifically when it comes to the daytime scene that has Ghostface in it, I feel like that's one of the scenes that really stood out of a lot of other scenes that happen. But yeah, comment down below, let me know if you know what I'm talking about, far as that daytime scene, is if there's something that just felt a little off about the timing of when the cops, or when something is supposed to show up or happen or anything like that. And also another con that I would say is, as much as I like the sisters, I also feel like the sister dynamic when it comes to the deepness and the dialogue of the conversation and everything like that, like I told you, like I've never seen really a Scream movie be, you know, go into these deep dialogue type of, you know, pockets of moments in the movie like this. And I feel like as much as I liked them, there are times, you know, that linger. I don't know if it's from that specifically, but I do feel like there was like maybe a little pockets of slug when it comes to the pace, but ultimately still that Wes Craven pace definitely was still there. You definitely are not going to just, I don't feel like it's a movie that you just fall asleep to. Maybe there's somebody out there probably to watch. Comment down below if you fell asleep in the movie. But yeah, I didn't really have, other than that, I really don't have any other cons. I feel like when it comes to the Scream movie, it's a good movie. I feel like it's not a great movie, but for a movie to come out in January and to be this far along when it comes to its own franchise, and to come out and to, obviously with any franchise movie or IP that comes out, that's probably had a couple movies that people have felt a certain way about or whatever, and especially these reboots, just the whole nature of it just coming out in, like I said, January, which if you didn't know, usually January is like more of the dumping grounds when it comes to, movies and everything. But I felt like it was just a good movie on its own. It does have its problems and everything like that, but it's really, really way more fun, way more entertaining than I expected. I will give Scream a 8 out of 10 for Scream. So comment down below, let me know your thoughts, how you liked it, how you didn't like it, and if you do want to get, also how you liked it, how you didn't like it, and also press that like button if you like this video. And if you like to get more notifications for when I do these reviews, make sure you press the subscribe button, and you will definitely get a notification to let you know my next review. So looking forward to that Batman coming out, the Batman. Comment down below on that too. I'm mixing movies and stuff, but anyways, y'all have a good day. MadMave is out.